SpongeBob, tara na. Jellyfishing na tayo.
Oh, yan na mga Patrick! What up, guys? Miguel here.
And Joey.
And it's time for another Ask YugaTech.
I've been searching.
You know how this thing works? Watch out for the hashtag AskYugaTech post on our forms of social media or comment your questions on the previous episode so we can answer your questions.
Speaking of the previous episode, let's check out some of the people who want a shout out for this episode.
Okay, shout out to DayDayYT. He says, pa-shout out po, and he has a question. What's the best budget phone of 2019? The Realme 5 or Realme 5 Pro or the Redmi Note 8, Redmi Note 8 Pro?
I think it's the 5. I mean, it's the cheapest one out of the bunch.
But is it the 5 or the Pro? Or the 5 Pro?
Well, we claimed the 5 as Budget King.
Yeah, I suppose it's the budget king. Yeah, I'd classify the 5 Pro and also the Redmi Note 8 Pro as like more of the mid-range. So between the Realme 5 and the Redmi Note 8. Yeah, you're right. It's the Realme 5.
All right. Next guy to shout out is Average Internet Surfer. He says, shout out please, smiley face. And he says he's been on this channel since we were on 80,000 subs. So thanks. And I like how he has like a Spyro avatar or like profile picture.
Yeah.
Spyro, man! Spyro's awesome.
Right. Next shout out is to Ibrahim David. Pa-shout out po ako. Shout out to you. Which phone has the best camera this 2019? Probably. Well, there's 3 I can think of. Obviously, the Pixel 4 just launched, the iPhone 11 just launched, and there's the Huawei Mate 30 Pro. But you could also make the argument that, Note 10 Plus, S10 Plus. But overall, my instincts tell me it's one of the iPhone 11s.
Yeah, I think it's the 11 Pro.
Yeah.
But I had just realized because of that camera comparison that I don't like how the 11 has those warmer tones in the way they process. I think. Actually, I don't know. But it's good. All those cameras that you just mentioned are good. So if you have the money for those expensive ass phones, cha-ching!
Alright, next person to shout out is John Ray Ordeniza. Pa-shout out po. Shout out to you. Ask ko lang po ano pa yung malakas na 5G connections from Huawei, China, or Samsung / collab with America. Probably Huawei. I mean, they're leading the charge right now with 5G technology, so probably them.
Next shout out goes to Cherry's Blossom. She wants to know which phone brand do we think is the most improved for this year. Realme is my vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Realme. No, I'm gonna say Oppo in general.
Alright.
Which means Oppo, the Oppo brand, the Realme brand, and the OnePlus brand. Next is from MMH Radiology. Why would anyone ask for a shout out? I never understood the game in that. Because of that, I'm gonna shout you out.
Next is from Louis Michael Prieto. Pa-shout po. Ah! He forgot the out. He didn't say shout out. He just said pa-shout.
What?
Oh! Come here.
From Ree. Pa-shout out po, pero si AJ said, just shout.
No, he said shout out. He said shout out. So you have to say, hello, Ree. Diba?
Hello, Ree.
Shout! So that's it for our shout out portion. Now let's move on to the actual questions.
Our first question comes from Joseph. My question is regarding about an issue on the Mi 9T Pro, which no one includes in their review about popping ads. Is this really true? Does it affect the performance of the phone? Are there any options to hide the ads? Hashtag Ask YugaTech.
Why do you read it like that?
I don't know, a little more theatrics. Less boring video.
From what I know, this has nothing to do with the Mi 9T Pro itself because if it did, then that means any Xiaomi phone running MIUI would have the same problem. And I did some research. There have been some posts on Reddit specifically referring to your situation, which is the Mi 90 Pro / K20 Pro. It's probably because of one of the third-party apps you have installed, which is somehow pushing full screen ads towards your system UI.
Our next question comes from Joshua Robin. Safe ba gamitin panlinis ang electronic contact cleaner sa mga laptop motherboards or motherboards in general? O mas prefer pa din gumamit ng compressed air, open close parenthesis, air cans? I think air cans or the compressed air is the way to go.
It's the way to go. Electronic contact cleaner is more of what you would use like if you were prototyping. You would clean your empty board with that before you start soldering. That's what I understand.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, because like with me, I'm kind of like, when it comes to like the whole motherboard engineering stuff, all I've ever really done was like change thermal paste. And I even like...
That's a big step. Some people are even scared to do that.
I even alcohol did pa nga. Are you supposed to do that?
Alcohol is fine because within a matter of seconds, assuming you only applied it using cotton, it'll evaporate.
Yeah.
But with contact cleaner, it's some pretty heavy stuff. I think you would only want to use that if it's like really for some reason gunked up.
Oh, okay.
Like if you like used your laptop while like smoking cigarettes for years, you'd probably need a deep clean. But if it's just dust, just go ahead with compressed air. Pro tip, those cans are really expensive. There are some cans you can get for like 200 pesos or 100 pesos, but the really good brands are like 600 pesos. So I suggest to Lazada, look for those mini like vacuums that have the option to blow air also. You'll save a lot of money. Next question is from Lawrence Larman. What happened to Fortnite? Okay, so Fortnite has been out for almost 2.5 years. The fact is, not every game is gonna be number one forever. If you look at the numbers, probably Fortnite is still number one. It's just off your radar, like your personal radar. But the reasons why it's off your personal radar is several things. The people in your sort of gaming bubble have moved on to other games. There's a percentage who, you know, mobile games like Call of Duty, games like Minecraft have resurged and taken over a bit of that. You have factors like Ninja moving from Twitch to Mixer, all these things. But what happened to Fortnite? It's still around.
The cool kids stopped playing, so you should stop playing too. Next question comes from Geonim Mathers. Sana maging topic niyo naman yung KaiOS. I have no idea what KaiOS is, so Joey, please take the floor.
Alright, so in contrast to Android, KaiOS is probably the biggest like sort of juxtaposition we take if we were to cover KaiOS, because KaiOS is first of all, it's a Linux-based it's a Linux-based operating system that actually is designed for feature phones, not smartphones. So if you were to install KaiOS on an Android device, it would essentially turn your device into a dumb phone. But yeah, it's interesting. He didn't really ask a question. He said he's giving a suggestion.
Yeah.
We should cover KaiOS. I think we'll do that.
In the future.
Interesting. Okay, last question is from Enorit Escat. Who wins, the PS5 or Xbox Scarlett, based on the things we know about the consoles in their early stages?
PlayStation, Xbox sucks! Coming back! I don't know.
Honestly, same sentiments with regards to all the exclusives and stuff, yeah. But it's the same thing. PS5 wins because we already know there's gonna be even more exclusives. You know, Red Dead 3, Last of Us 3 in the future. You also have backwards compatibility, all that sort of stuff. But on the side of the Xbox Scarlett, don't just throw it away for a second. It's got, you know, the new AMD Zen 2 and AMD Navi graphics, which means 120 FPS gameplay, 8K gameplay. So in typical Sony versus Microsoft fashion, subjectively, the experience goes to the PlayStation, but in the hardware side, just pure raw graphics performance, Xbox is probably gonna win it, and that's what I have to say about your question. Yeah.
All right, that was our last question for this episode of Ask YugaTech. This is the 31st episode.
We've come a long way.
we have come a long way. If you guys have any more questions, you know what to do. Go to our social media or leave a comment on this episode, and hopefully we choose it for the next one if it's a good enough question.
And if you enjoyed this video,
Be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon so you get notified of future uploads. Be sure to visit YugaTech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Again, this has been Miguel,
this has been Joey.
and we will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.